Chris Pratt recently became one of the highest grossing actors in the world. About a decade before that, he was homeless with little to no ambition or acting skills. So, how did he go from nobody to one of the highest profile actors in the world? In this video, I will describe some of the key strategies, tactics, and mindsets that Chris Pratt used to get to the top, and in the process, I will also show you how you can integrate them into your life so that you can be more successful. The first idea is branding. Chris Pratt is a master brander, and branding at its core is telling people stories. People hate what they don't understand, and they trust what they do.
I lived in a van in Maui for about a year when I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so...
That van, right there.
Is that the van? Wow.
Would that be you in the van?
That's me, and that's literally the script that got me out of Maui. That script is for Cursed Part 3, the movie that I got paid $700 to do that.
$700?
I know, I was like, score! I lived in a van, I was like, yeah! To act? Okay, woohoo!
When people think of Chris Pratt, they think of an extremely talented, goofy guy that came from nothing and is also extremely humble. That's basically a condensed version of his life story. He reinforces this story at every opportunity that he gets. And he does this by being funny, humble, and talking about his past. Because of this, people think of him as the underdog, and they want him to succeed. But he's not just loved by his fans, he's also respected by other actors as well as directors in Hollywood. So how can you learn from Chris Pratt? If you want people to know who you really are, make sure that they know where you came from and what you're all about. Don't be pushy about it. Don't bring it up whenever you have the chance, but whenever it seems like an appropriate moment, make sure to let them know who you are. This will go a long way towards building your brand. But Chris Pratt is not just loved by his fans, he's also respected by other actors and directors in Hollywood. How? He treats work like a learning opportunity, and he tries to learn everything like a sponge.
Some jobs you learn by going to college, and they give you an education, then you bring that to your work. And some jobs you learn by just being on the job. And from Cursed Part 3 on all the way up to Jurassic World, my knowledge of how to be on a set, how to act, and how to handle myself on set and approach work is continuing to grow. I've learned a lot on every job. It would be smart when on a job to be a sponge. Pick somebody and learn from them. I'm getting to the point now where I have more experience than a lot of the people that are on the set.
Chris has gotten the opportunity to work with some of Hollywood's best actors and directors, and he's taken full advantage of it. When he meets someone that he admires, he pays close attention to what they're doing right, he watches them closely, and he learns how to do what they're doing right himself. Now contrast this to what most people do. When most people meet someone that is extremely impressive, what do? They get jealous. And they either try to bring that person down or they shrink away and give up. Both of those things are extremely non-productive. So what's the lesson here? When you see someone that you admire, instead of getting jealous, you can watch what they're doing, see what they're doing right, and try to integrate those skills into your own skill set. It's a win-win for everyone. The next thing that Chris has done extremely well is adapting to the internet. TV is on the decline and the internet is doing extremely well. And although you see Chris on a lot of talk shows, it's more and more apparent that there just aren't as many viewers tuning into these shows. That's why popular talk shows have been starting YouTube channels. As a side note, advertisers know that ads convert much better on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. than they do on TV. Why? Because social media is more targeted and it's not as saturated with ads. People have learned to ignore ads on TV, but they pay more attention to the social media ads. Because of this, There aren't as many people looking at ads on social media, but the return on investment is much higher. Chris Pratt knows this, and that's why he agrees to interviews with YouTube stars like Smosh and Casper.
Can you drink it like your tongue's a straw? Like, can you do that?
Nope.
No?
Do more until spills on yourself.
It looks cool.
It doesn't work well. That
Ask him if he can recreate Jeff Goldblum's laugh from the movie.
I want you to.
The last life hack that I'm going to talk about today is probably going to be a pretty controversial one, as well as a little bit paradoxical. Care what people think about you. Contrary to popular belief, Chris Pratt believes that you should care what people think about you. And here's why.
What keeps you grounded, Chris? What's important to you, and why? What makes you keep your head level?
I think if you care about a lot of people say, just don't care what people think about you. Like, it doesn't matter what people think about you. I've never agreed with that. I think it does. I think you should care very deeply what people think about you. I think they're usually right.
You should care about what people think about you because it's the easiest way for you to discover your weaknesses and start to improve upon them. For instance, if you have an extremely sarcastic sense of humor and a lot of people are telling you that you're mean, you should probably tone it down a little bit. You should take steps to make sure that the way you're perceived is the way that you think you are. There are some exceptions to this, of course. Some people, no matter what you do, they're just incredibly negative and they're going to think really nasty thoughts about you no matter what. If you're a really nice person, they're going to think you're an ass kisser. If you stand up for yourself, they're going to think you're an asshole. So the trick is be aware of how others perceive you, but do not get emotionally invested in it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more in the near future.